Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our pathway session about information systems technology, cybersecurity, and computer science. We have our awesome faculty here to answer any questions that students may have regarding our programs. At the very end of the session today, I'm going to post a link for you to go ahead and fill out so that you can be entered into a raffle to win some awesome prizes. So we're going to be raffling off a set of AirPods, an iPad mini, and a Nintendo Switch. So you don't want to miss out on that, and that will happen at the very end. And we're going to raffle on August 24th. If you would like to get more entries, new students can get up to 5 entries. And you can do that by going to lfcc.edu/welcome day and watching some of the recordings that we've posted about other sessions. We have some resource sessions, so if you're interested in learning more about online learning, if you want to hear from more faculty members about expectations and things like that, you can go and review those, and at the end it will let you sign up for the link to get more entries. So I hope that you take advantage of that at the end of the session today. I will be monitoring the chat this evening, so if you have any questions, please feel free to pop it into the chat box, and I will make sure that our faculty take care of that for you. And without further ado, passing it off.
Okay, welcome folks. My name is Art Lee. I'll let my colleagues, Dr. Henry Kaufman and Dr. Melissa Stein, introduce themselves in more detail here in a few minutes. But the main thing we want to do tonight is to give you an overview, if you would, of the different options that you have relative to computer technology here at Lord Fairfax. As you can see on the screen, there are three programs that we have. Information Systems Technology, which is typically simply called IST or even IT. There is Cybersecurity, and there is Computer Science. Sarah, if you go to the next slide, I believe you will see there's some, at least a bad picture of me, but good pictures of my colleagues there. But you can put a name and a face, perhaps, if you don't see us on your screen already. Again, I'm the program lead for the Information Systems Technology area, and I'll speak to that here in just a few minutes. And Dr. Kaufman and Dr. Stein have their areas, cybersecurity and computer science, respectively. So hopefully by the time we're done, you're going to have at least a pretty good idea as to what the differences are. There are similarities, but there are definitely differences as well. So let's go to the next slide, Sarah. So as I said, there are these 3 different options, but within those options, there are options as to whether you may be working towards or maybe will eventually work towards a degree, an associate degree, or a career study certificate, which we commonly simply refer to as a CSC. But whether you're in a degree or a career study certificate option or pathway, you have different options, and you can see the details at the various URLs or the websites that you see listed there on the screen. Again, I'm going to speak a little more specifically here with the next slide about IST. So actually, I sort of am. I'm going to the next slide, but let me just kind of expand on this. Let's go back one if we can. So as you can see, the 3 degree options, they're associate degrees. The top one is an Associate of Applied Science degree in Information System Technology. So if you were to work through the program, which I'm going to explain in a few minutes, that is what you would end up with in terms of a degree from Lord Fairfax Community College. That degree is really designed and is in place for you to try to gain the skills and the knowledges and the hands-on experience to get a job upon completion of that degree with the associate degree. That is the intent. The intent of that degree is not necessarily to serve as a transfer to a 4-year school. I will let my colleagues in the cybersecurity and computer science areas talk more about that, because that comes more under their programs. the last bullet item you see on the screen does talk about career study certificates that provides specializations in various technology fields. So specifically in the IST degree, you can very easily, in fact, most students will, when they graduate, they will graduate with an IST degree, but they also will have one or more career study certificates that fit into, if you will, that IST degree. There are what we call IT electives that are part of the IST degree. So by working with your advisor and with myself and other faculty members, you can identify courses that you want to focus on that will supplement and add to the IST degree. Okay, now I'll let you go to the next one, Sarah. So one more time. So when you're starting in the IST degree, there is a set of core courses or foundational type courses. You see them listed on your screen. The intent of these core courses are to provide a foundation that you will then build on as you progress through the IST degree. The most often question I get is, I don't know where to start. I know I want to do something in computing. I want to do something in IT, but I don't know what area to specialize in. Well, the good news is you don't really have to make that decision at the very beginning, because by taking these set of core courses, by the time you do that, you will probably have answered at least a fundamental question. Well, I do want to do more of this, or I don't want to do any more of that. But regardless of what you might tend to specialize or focus in your later courses or more advanced courses, you at least will have a foundation of all the basic skills that you would find in IT. And I'll just say one more thing. If, for example, you go into networking, for example, as a specialization, the networking engineer or the networking specialist still needs to have a fundamental understanding of databases or software design. So, and you could say that for all these areas. The database person needs to have an awareness of what networking is and what it's about, so that they can talk the same language and they can collaborate. So there has to be a kind of a fundamental understanding of basic courses. So that's what these core courses. So if you're just starting this fall, any or all, not all of them are offered, but many of these courses are offered this semester in the fall. So you can, any of these courses would be fine for you to start as your first set of IT courses, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 courses. Of course, there's other courses such as English and math that you'd want to take as well. I'll mention also, that's on the screen, the SDV 101, which is called Orientation to the IT Professions. This is a course that we recommend to take as early as possible, preferably in your first semester. And I know some students are going on a part-time basis. So if you're only taking 1 or 2 courses a semester and not a full 5 or 6 courses, the first semester, it would be a good idea to try to take STV 101. It's a 1-credit course. It is only an 8-week course. It's done entirely online, as many of our courses now are. What we have available for the fall is actually a second 7-week, that's 8-week, I meant 7-week, second 7-week course that will start in mid-October. Last check, there's still availability for that course. The first 7-week section has been closed, but there's still availability in the second 7-week. That's hard to say. Okay, I think I have one more slide, then I'll wrap it up here. So back to the career study certificates. So as I mentioned, you can supplement your IST degree with 1 or more of these career study certificates. You can also be involved or be enrolled in a career study certificate program without being in the degree. In fact, this is how some people start. Sometimes they're saying, I'm coming part-time. I have a job elsewhere. I don't have time to devote to a degree. So I want to start with a set of courses in a specific area. They may have an idea that they want to be involved in networking or software development or cybersecurity, or whatever the case may be. So the career study certificates can be used in a variety of ways. They can be used as a place to start. They also can be used to place as a set of courses to add to, or to be a part of, would be a better way of saying that, their IST degree. It is not unusual for a person to graduate with an IST degree and then multiple career study certificates. And then maybe a year later, they add on another couple of courses that will complete another career study certificate. Because one thing I'm sure you know, that is true regardless of whether you get into IT, computer science, cybersecurity, technology is always changing. So the career study certificates are a way that people can stay and stay in tune with technology, but also update their skills that they may have taken previously. I think that's probably my last slide. I'll let Henry take it from here.
Let me turn my mic on. One thing I hate about being recorded is that Sarah has to make me be on my best behavior, and that's not really that easy to do. Hi, I'm Dr. Kaufman. I'm the actual program manager or lead for the cybersecurity programs at Lower Fairfax Community College. Let's go to the next slide, Sarah. In reference to one thing I want to tie in, and I don't know if the next slide or not is on certificates or not, but I want to tie in what Art said first before I get to the slide is on the certificates. If you notice in the certificate beforehand, and if it is on the next slide, then I'm just doing it now. Is it? It is on the next slide. Okay, let me do that, then I'll go back to the degree. Okay, it helps if I memorize the slide order, right? But anyway, I wanted to get back because Art mentioned this earlier, and it ties into that. That's why I want to do that right now. As Art says, I guess I should call him Professor Lee in front of the professional thing. But anyway, he mentioned this, and it is a certificate of courses that was really written for, or the courses were written for an individual who wanted to grab extra skills in the cybersecurity area and didn't, had that. They may have had something else. This may be a focus. They may be out in the workforce, and because of their job, they needed some extra skill sets, and this was one of those things that really would apply for that. The other thing with that is that somebody may already have a degree. They may have already gone to George Mason University, James Madison, Cornell, even Harvard. Probably some lawyers could help this out, but it comes out to be is that they could then use a separate skill or an added skill set on cybersecurity to understand some of the legal and some of the other stuff to go with it to help enhance their career or whatever you want to go along the line. So this certificate is really built for a minimum of 1 year, but most of the time students take it for a year and a half or so because of the setup of the courses, whatever it is on the line. It really is not, it could also be to an, and I mentioned this, it could be to a non-IST student, doesn't have to be an IST student, okay? But anyone who takes this career study certificate, I think all the courses actually, once you complete that certificate, and that's key, completing the certificate, and I have to say that so I won't get in trouble with some accreditations I'm working with, but it comes out to be is once you complete that, you can use most of that into the cybersecurity degree if you decide to go into that, okay? So you need to check with advisors on prerequisites. A lot of times I like to say this is check with us, who's doing this presentation, as a final, just in case something is questionable, but you can start with your advisor, okay? Now I'll go back to the other slide. Sorry, Sarah. The cybersecurity degree. It is an Associate of Applied Science degree. It's one of those quasi-dual purpose type degrees. You can get the associate and go directly into the workforce with it. You gain skills to go into an entry-level job position in the cybersecurity world. Let's just put it that way. Okay. The other side of it, it is a degree that has been worked with a transfer type capability to certain transfer institutions, four-year institutions, primarily George Mason University, Old Dominion University, and then George Washington University. If I had to do them in order, probably it's for GMU, then ODU, and GWU along the line. But if, as with anything, even if with arts degree, Melissa, Dr. Stein would probably say the same thing, is that it's always best to confer with the 4 years to make sure that nothing has changed, because as Art mentioned earlier, technology changes in a flash and things change in reference to that. So this program is quasi. It's like, if you want to go to workforce, you go to workforce. If you want to go to a transfer, we got transfer institutions ready to take it on. George Mason is actually the Bachelor of Applied Science in Cybersecurity. And ODU, I remember, is referencing to the Bachelors of Interdisciplinary Studies in Cybersecurity. And the George Washington is Bachelor of Professional Studies in Cybersecurity. So we got 3 institutions that you can actually transfer to. This degree is actually a Center of Academic Excellence in 2-year education. What does that mean? It means that National Security Agency and Homeland Security actually, I'm going to call it bless this program as meeting their requirements. And because of that, you have certain access to grants, scholarships, inroads into some job positions, et cetera, et cetera. And also, if you graduate from this degree with a certain grade point average in certain core subjects, then you will get the NSA and DHS seals on your degree when you graduate, okay? The core courses are listed there. The 100 networking, 221 is a hardware and operating system course. The 260 series are the main cybersecurity courses. The ITP 270 course, even though I will say this, in the program, it's fairly rigid. Okay, there's only one elective slot. It doesn't have the number of certificate electives as the IST program has. There's only one, and it's really a programming elective. It's either one on the Java or the ITP 270, which works with kind of different languages, primarily Python. But I'm going to blow Dr. Stang's horn here, but it comes out to be she does a hell of a good job on that course. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. She does a great job on that course. Okay, sorry, but I have to say that because she does. All right. And there are my other courses there, Linux and stuff that you can go with it, and the math stuff along the line. There are descriptions of all these things on that URL there. I just redid or redesigned the cybersecurity site. It's not quite done yet, but it's enough. It's good enough, I guess I could say, in order to get up-to-date information on this degree. All right, is there another slide after that besides the careers? Another one after that one? Oh, okay. I have a new degree coming on, actually starts Monday. It's called the Cybersecurity Engineering Specialization under the Associate of Science in Science. Okay, that is a new, got it approved through VCCS and Chev, I guess, this year. It is also a 2-year degree. It is heavily math intensive. I'm not going to, play a falsehood on that. It's math intensive. It probably houses every math course we offered at this community college for the most part. It is transferable right now mainly, okay, even though it can be transferred elsewhere if you talk to the transferring institutions about certain courses with it, but it's primarily transferred to George Mason University's Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity Engineering, which will lead to their Master of Science in Cybersecurity Engineering, which will lead to their ultimate, which is what they're working on now, a PhD. So it's got a whole pathway that will probably be done by time a person graduates in there. There are only 3 courses in there that are George Mason type effect courses. The rest of them are here, and you have to register right now with George Mason, but we can work all that out when that comes to frame. But it's a very, very good career outlook for people. And I will make the statement that Dr. Browse from GMU made one time, and that is to me that her students can't even get out of the program before the big industries are picking them up. All right, and that's how good this program is right now. It is also on my cybersecurity website, so you can get degree information there. It is it may be, you have to come to me on some details of it, but the advisors are doing pretty well in reference to this one as well. But it's brand new, it starts this fall, it's a 2-year degree. I guess that's probably about my 3 areas, the certificate, the the applied science degree, and the associate of science in the engineering side of the house. Take it away, Dr. Stein.
So I'm Dr. Stein, but before I get into computer science, I would like to make a note that the gentleman who teaches Linux, the professor who teaches Linux in both the IST and the cybersecurity program, was recently recognized as the Virginia Community College System's Adjunct of the Year. So we have a top-notch professor validated throughout the state with both of those programs. Okay, so Sarah, if you can go ahead and we'll get into computer science. So as with the other two programs, computer science does have two career study certificates. The first one is an applied computer science certificate. As Professor Lee mentioned, that it does feed into the Associates of Applied Science in IST degree. It serves as a foundation only if for computer science, it does not feed into the degree. It is for if you're very uncomfortable with technology, you've never experienced technology at all, you're not ready to get into the theory of computer science, this is where you would want to start. It gives you a great foundation. And then we have a career science specialist certificate, and this is more designed for an add-on to somebody who already has a degree and just wants that computer science portion. We have physical therapists, we have musicians, artists who take this certificate to add to their knowledge base. We also have people who do like cybersecurity but wants computer science also because the transfer university that they're going to wants some computer science courses. Or we have students who know that they're going to transfer to a 4-year in a 1-year process instead of a 2-year. This is the certificate they can take because it gets all their computer science core classes out of the way when they transfer. It ties very nicely to the general studies career, certificate. Okay, you want to? So the degree actually is designed specifically for you to go from Lord Fairfax to a 4-year school. While you can get an entry-level job, it won't be in computer science. It will be in the field of IT because you just don't have enough computer science to successfully enter the workforce at this point in time. We have 4 computer science courses that are required. Within those, you'll find out exactly what the field of computer science involves. You'll learn Python, Java, C++, assembly, C, and a lot of computer architecture type things. It does require analytic geometry, 1 and 2. If you do not come in at that math area, it's okay because we have 2 CS electives where you can take pre-calc in those. You could put pre-calc with trig, so you can use those electives to build your math skills up if need be. We encourage you from day 1 to start thinking about where you want to transfer to because each 4-year university currently wants different electives. So the sooner you figure out where you want to transfer, we can make sure and tailor this degree so that you can transfer almost every credit. Then the reason I say almost is because LFCC's orientation class obviously is not going to transfer to the 4-year schools, but the majority of everything else in the program does transfer. We do fall under the VCCS guaranteed admission into all Virginia's 4-year public institutions. We also have had very good success in the state of West Virginia transferring and the state of Maryland. So we also, in addition to, you can go ahead and flip the screen, in addition to allowing people to, in those CS elective courses, if you're transferring to, say, UVA's Bachelor of Arts in Computer Science, you actually need to take 2 foreign languages in those elective courses. So the degree is allowed to be very flexible, but we also have additional computer science courses if you choose to get some more out of your way. The classes that you can take if you want to get into advanced C++, ODU likes, if you want to actually get published before you leave and research, we have our seminar and projects area. This is also where we do our virtual exchanges where we work with students. We've worked with Germany, Ireland, Jordan. We're signed up to do a project with Scotland in the fall. So it's a great way to expand beyond just the classroom. Normally we have in-person classes where you purchase a textbook. This time, of course, with COVID has changed that, but we also offer the courses and the degree in online with OER, so you have no additional textbook course. We also offer with online with a textbook purchase, so make sure when you sign up that you actually look at the notes of the course to see if it's a textbook required or a not textbook required course. We do hybrid models where part of it's online, part of it's in the classroom. And the classroom part usually is hands-on, playing with a lot of the toys we have. We have lots and lots of robots and all kinds of fun things. We actually just got in a whole new shipment of X robots, and once we're allowed, we will be starting our own BattleBot team, if you've seen that on TV. So Lord Fairfax will be joining that. And then we now have an accelerated approach where you take each one of our core courses in a 7-week format. So you're only taking one computer science class at a time, but you actually complete 2 of the core classes in 1 semester. So in 2 semesters, you've completed all 4 core classes. This is a new approach for us. We do have the program is designed. It does not work with Chromebooks. I do want to mention that you will need to be able to install software. So you do need some kind of laptop or that you can do that with. And the basic assumption is that, you know basically the layout of the keyboard. You have to be ready to go into English 111 for every one of our programs. And the biggest thing is you have to have a commitment and a passion to learn. This program does not give you step-by-step instructions on how to do everything. We give you the tools, and then we want you to put it together. And that is because at the 4-year schools, that's the way they teach. So we want to make sure you're well prepared when you leave here. All the pictures on the computer science screens are of our actual students. Some have graduated, some are still with us. The gentleman on the BMX bike, actually one of his class projects was to write an application related to a hobby he enjoyed. Obviously it was BMX, and he actually sold it to the BMX managers and paid for the rest of his college career from his first programming class in the computer science. So we have a lot of success stories that we can share with you and help you succeed.
Again, this is Professor Lee again. I guess I'll just kind of tie this back together, and then we'll open up for questions here in a moment. Just remember, you can be in multiple programs. That is, you can be in a degree program, you can be in a career studies certificate program, you can be in a certificate program without being in a degree program. So there's lots of mixing and matching that goes on, and the best way to kind of help navigate your way through this is, just talk to advisors, talk to faculty members. That STV 101 course I mentioned earlier, that's a good place to find out information as well. You do need to be officially enrolled in your desired program or programs. Sometimes students just start taking courses and they don't actually go through the process, which I believe can simply be done online, to be officially enrolled in a program. Just because you officially enroll in a program does not somehow obligate you, although we want you to complete. It doesn't mean that you have to complete that program. It just means that you're working towards that program, and you might be surprised over the course of a few semesters, you might be closer than you think to completing whether it be a certificate program or a degree, what have you. Sarah, what do we have next? As far as courses this fall, as was mentioned, we do have basically mainly online courses. There are a few hybrid courses where there is interactivity between yourself and the instructor, but for the most part, most IT courses are online. Again, a few hybrid courses, and that is true for much of the college. Again, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it is what it is at this point in time. We do have various start dates. We have a 14-week semester, which is the full semester starting next week and running to first or so week of December. There is a 12-week program that starts September 8th, I believe it is. And then there's a 7-week session that starts in mid-October. So, there's various opportunities for you to start taking courses during the fall semester. My LFCC is your go-to location to search and register for those classes. And of course, you want to register sooner rather than later. We're starting next week, or perhaps a little bit later for those other courses. Sarah? This is a contact list for the various faculty members that you've heard from myself, Dr. Kaufman, and Dr. Stein. I see that Dr. Jose Nieves has joined us as well. So I will give him the opportunity to say hello if he would like to. Before I do that, the other instructor you see listed there is Professor Daryl Andrews. But Dr. Nieves, do you want to say hello?
Yes, even though we are in this very interesting situation of a pandemic and everything is virtual, just remember that the program is still the same. And the program is just as alive as it has always been, all the programs and all the degrees. So don't hesitate to email any of us. And if we are not the right person, we'll make sure that your message gets to the correct person that can best answer your question, okay? So I welcome you. I hope that you enjoy our programs.
Great, thank you, Dr. Nieves. Since I see his name on the list, it kind of reminds me to mention that we do have a brand new program that's being launched this fall in cloud computing. It's a career study certificate that can be part of the IST degree. Dr. Nieves, who you just heard from, as well as Professor Andrews, they are heading up the actual course content of that program. Professor Andrews is taking the first SWAT this fall with the course. You do need to have at least a basic networking background. As far as courses go, you want to have at least the ITN 100 and perhaps the ITN 200 course either behind you or you're in the midst of taking 200. If you're taking 200 this semester, you could also take the cloud computing, which is ITN 257. But that's the last of the advertisements for me tonight. Sarah, I think we're ready for questions if there are any.
Can I make a couple comments?
Sure, go ahead.
One thing that Professor Lee said earlier that I just want to kind of relate to that a student should declare for a program at the soonest they can. And the reason for that is that if you wait down the road and let's say another semester or a year or whatever to declare, we go by whatever year you register for the program. So if a course changes and you've already taken courses and something changed in the program, and when you do declare, then you're under a new program. At least that's the way it's been in the past. All right. And therefore the course you took may not count anymore. And so therefore it may cause you some issues. That's the one thing I wanted to say in reference to dedicated early. Now, if you don't know and you're undecided, Professor Lee, isn't there one of those certificates that helps you to decide? It has a little bit of each one of them. Which one was that?
Well, yeah, it was actually a couple. Dr. Stang's applied computer science certificate, as well as our technology essentials career study certificate. Yes, but you're right. Both of those would kind of you're safe in taking those courses as starters to help you decide where you might want to go. Well, I appreciate
you may have said that and I went over my head.
Right. I appreciate you mentioning that about the catalogs, though. That's probably more true for our programs, the computer technology programs, and any other programs, because we do change, quite often. So it is important that you get locked in, if you will, to a program that we will then see you through until the end. But there's also opportunities for changes as well. So that it can be a bit more complex than that, but yes.
And I would like to add that we do have an international technology honor society that you can strive to join. You mentioned, Dr. Kaufman mentioned about getting certain GPAs. Dr. Nieves is the lead over at the Fauquier campus, and I am at Middletown, but any of the faculty can assist you in finding the requirements to get into that. But that also offers you scholarship money that is specifically for technology students. So please, once you get here, find out more about this society.
Very good.
If I could interject just one more thing.
Please.
Dr. Stein just mentioned about the Fauquier and the Middletown campus. Given that we are in a virtual environment, most of us, even hybrid courses are mostly in a virtual environment. Don't stop because you believe you belong to a specific campus. Just reach to any of us and we will help you, okay? Don't say, oh, Dr. Nieves is not available this week or it's not available until tomorrow, whatever, okay? Just shoot the email to whomever of the points of contacts, and it doesn't really matter what campus we're in.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's probably more true now than ever, because just like everyone else, we're working from remote locations, so geography doesn't matter as much as it used to. Do we have any questions, Sarah?
I don't have any in the chat. If anybody would like to unmute and ask a question, you can do so. Stop the share.
We're all being shy.
Yep, seems like it. If you all don't mind my asking, if you could put into the chat what programs you're planning on going into, maybe that would help our faculty as well.
Yeah, it helps to know our audience. It helps to know who we're directing the presentations to. So if you could put your program down in the chat, that would be wonderful.
And if it's undecided, say that.
So Michelle is cybersecurity. Eldon is cybersecurity. I'm choosing the AS degree.
Any additional questions they want from me for the people who's doing the cybersecurity?
Greg is doing cybersecurity as well, hoping to transfer.
Is that the AAS degree, the applied degree, or anybody interested on the engineering side, I guess? Okay, I just asked.
One thing I would suggest is that I would imagine that they have all visited the cybersecurity web pages. Dr. Kaufman has made a very, very good job of putting together the prospects for the field, what it takes, what you can expect. So I'm pretty sure that you have all looked at it. Don't hesitate to always shoot him an email.
Okay, well,
I didn't pay Jose for that. I didn't pay Jose for that either.
uh-huh.
There's a question there from Greg.
Yeah, so Greg says, are there any books we need to get, and would I call the business office to figure that out? So actually, Greg, when you go to your My LFCC, you have all your tiles to the left. There is a tile for the bookstore. If you click on that tile, you can go through the system and put in your schedule, and your schedule will pop out your materials list. You can also see what books you need to get by going to the student information system and clicking on the class notes for each class, and that will also tell you where to get your books and that kind of thing, because they mentioned OER, which is Open Educational Resources. And what that generally means is that your books and supplies are $40 or less. Most of your books are online, your materials. We're trying to make it more affordable for students to be able to do that. So some of your classes may not even require books. Did I answer that correctly?
Most of the cybersecurity program do have books, but they can be ebooks.
Okay.
Along the line. And if this person is taking any cybersecurity program courses for this fall, all the courses of mine anyway have now been released on Canvas, so they can see the books and stuff there as well.
Awesome.
One thing to add to that is that if by any chance you're taking, well, many of our courses have adopted Cengage products from Cengage Publishing, and many of them are now have adopted what is called Cengage Unlimited, which means that with one subscription, you can actually get books for many, basically their entire offerings. So you may want to check, perhaps one of the courses that you might be taking, or two of the courses might be Cengage, maybe using Cengage textbooks, and therefore you only have to buy one subscription for both courses or 3 courses or whatever you might take.
Okay, so I just want to let it be known to Michelle, Jack, Eldon, and Greg. You guys have all have indicated that you're going down the cybersecurity track, which is great. That's wonderful. You're in good hands with Dr. Kaufman. But that just means that I'm going to be recruiting you to the IST side at some point in time. So just joking, but not if you do decide that you have a change of heart for whatever reason, things change. That just reach out to any of us.
Don't talk about people, Art.
What'd you say?
I said, don't take my students, Art.
No, I'm just giving you and them fair warning now. But no, you don't worry, Dr. Kaufman. You have plenty of students.
I'm just messing with you.
In all seriousness, we are here to help, and in any way, whether it's IT, cybersecurity, computer science, whatever the case may be. As Dr. Nieves mentioned, just send us an email. That's the easiest way to contact us in these days of COVID.
And as you can see, we all get along well. We just kid each other and whatever.
So I'm going to go ahead and share the link for our giveaways. So make sure that you all go and fill out the link. It's tinyurl.com/LFCC-summer 2020. We will be giving away an iPad mini, set of AirPods, or a Nintendo Switch. So we will announce that on the first day of classes, which is crazy because that's Monday. Right, and I'm going to stop the recording.